Just talk about what you saw out there tonight and how the team was able to come back and get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a real game. This was a big boy game. Very difficult opponent. Very well coached opponent. Hard to break down. Dangerous, dangerous with some attacking players. Dangerous in transition. And I thought our team was up for the challenge. Overall, couple moments, sure, but this is when two really good teams go after each other. It's a heavyweight battle, and really proud of the response of the guys. Coming out of halftime, not our sharpest, and then the quick ability to respond, regroup, and then get those 2 goals. And then after those 2 goals, I was really happy with the way that we continued to apply pressure and sort of mitigate some chances. And, there's always going to be a couple at the end of these games. But overall, just a proud performance for the group with, again, lots of contributions from different people.
We'll start with Ben and then go to Jacob.
BJ, you just touched on the kind of the second half. It felt like towards the end of the first half, after maybe the first 15 minutes or so, you guys kind of took control of the game again and were putting on a lot of pressure. What was going through your mind after talking to the team at halftime and then seeing Charlotte kind of immediately pull ahead and then just seeing the response on the field?
Yeah, I thought the first 15 minutes is a little bit, feeling it out, and they were on us a little bit. We settled into the game. I thought we were able to get ourselves again into the final third, able to set up a good attack. Again, I feel like I say this sometimes, but a little bit too reliant, where we almost started creating counterattacks for them. I think we were able to come back in at halftime, talk about that. Even the way that we scored 2 goals, see a little bit different with runs penetrating into the penalty box and getting a little bit deeper there. You don't want to get scored on that right out of halftime ever, but it also kind of gave us a wake-up call, and I thought we responded really well to it. And you've got plenty of time to come back, and I didn't know it was going to be like 90 seconds later to draw level, but again, it's another step forward for us. It's another part of sort of this chapter that we're right in of season 6. And kind of how we're learning and we're growing and we're having, we're kind of learning from the past to kind of apply to the future. And tonight was that.
And then it felt like the final 5-10 minutes or so, you guys did a really good job to just absorb a lot of pressure and stop those from turning into chances, maybe in a different way than we've seen so far this season. Just what does that say about this team to be able to kind of see out a game in that way?
Yeah, I was, you're really proud of the group. You're really proud of the guys that come in. That becomes the role. You always kind of prepare the solutions that they're going to come in for a reason, and what's the role that they're going to take on. And so you saw Ahmed, Gaston, and Josh come in the game, and we kind of go to that back 5. And even before that, I thought we were really disciplined, really focused, and connected on how to get pressure out to the ball, sort of eliminate their ability to get into the penalty box, which is a major focus of ours, and then even I thought we were comfortable with the ball. It was probably we could have made some better decisions, but I like the mentality of the team to want to also use the ball to kill a game.
Yeah, BJ. I guess. It seems like Jacob Schaffelberg, tonight with his goal and starts in the last 3 games. I guess what has he done over the last month and especially the last 3 weeks to seemingly kind of hold down that spot in the starting lineup? I guess what dimension does he kind of add to that group?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Jacobs, it's just been it's a little bit of the process of getting him back from the injury early in the year, and then building his fitness and those things. And so he's done a really good job of just kind of working every day, improving. We've been really working with him on the defensive side, and how to press in a controlled way and press together. And then when he does that, and we're able to win the ball and create these transition moments, I mean, again, he's an elite player that can run behind the back line. And so not only does he provide us the ability to run behind the back line, but then it stretches the team out, and now we can play through the middle. And I actually thought that's what you saw tonight was it wasn't like he was getting on the end of a lot of balls behind,
Mm-hmm.
but then we were able to play inside into our center midfielders and, again, get to the other side of the field or just control the game. So, again, his goal is what he'll be known for tonight, but when we look at that performance, a really complete performance on both sides.
And how much have you seen Jason Palacios kind of grow in comfort and just in that starting center back role in the 5 games he's starting? As what you see from him tonight?
Yeah, I think you see Jason growing in not only the group of the games, right, from playing consecutively. You have to give a lot of credit to Jason himself. Coming here from another country, adjusting, doesn't speak English great, working tremendously hard 3 days a week to learn it. It's not an easy thing, and he's tackled it with just sort of like great positive energy. And then every time he's playing, it's like he's kind of playing against new opponents, where we all have the familiarity of maybe playing against an Aguiman, and you kind of know, and you can do as much as you want until you play in the game. So what I also really enjoy about Jason is like he's making in-game adjustments constantly, and that just shows his his maturity and his experience, and again, another step forward for him.
Yeah, BJ, the whole game felt a little chippy overall, but the last 10 minutes, there were yellow cards and little elbows and fights kind of all around. What do you attribute that to? And also, how do you feel your team responded to that sort of physical aspect?
Yeah, I mean, they're like soccer fights. They're not real fights.
Not fights,
But listen, we want to play with intensity, and like I started with tonight, it's a big boy game. Like this is a second time around we've played each other. You're starting to get into the month of May. There's a lot of games. We know what that means in sort of moving up and down the table. And I thought our guys responded well. I thought it was there wasn't maybe one or two things get close to the line I think, but I thought both teams played in a real competitive way and handled it well.
And then just on Alex Muyl, he doesn't always get on the score sheet, but he started for you more often than not. Why, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, again, we don't put value on players in just goals. We have clear roles and responsibilities for every position and every player, and I think I think when you look at the complete game through all phases of play, he does a good job, and he does it in a very consistent way. And you know what you're going to get from Alex every single night. And a team that says that we want to play with intensity, and we want to press, and we want to win second balls, and we want to transition. He does all of that, and then he can also make make some passes and score a couple of goals. I think last year he had a career high in goals. So even he's continuing to develop in all aspects.
Vijay, you alluded to this a little bit when you're talking about how the team was able to combine through the middle and then get into the box. But I want to tell you about. I want you to ask about this that we've seen before, but it didn't show as good as in tonight. Nahar and Jacob combining there and then putting the pass in the middle for Mule, like in the goal. But that repeated several times, didn't it?
Yeah, we were able to create some overloads on that right-hand side. And this week it was, coming out of Atlanta, I think we spoke about how kind of, playing against teams that are, really, I would say, stout in kind of this penalty box defending. I mean, Charlotte's one of the best. I mean, so well drilled. Just trying to be a little bit more dynamic, getting a few more runs ahead of the ball, creating a little bit more circulation in kind of those runs. And I thought as we went on, it got better. And then, through those overloads, that's where you see kind of Alex coming from the other side of the field to get involved. And we were rewarded tonight for it.
Now, you stated before also that this is something like this happened also. The fact that the team relies on crosses when maybe it's not there, it's not needed. What have you been able to pinpoint why is the occasion or the moment when the team starts to doing that? Obviously something you don't like and you've tried to correct before.
if I had the exact answer to why it probably wouldn't happen anymore. Listen, I don't want it. It's not a negative thing. There's just sometimes better decisions. Sometimes it's correct across. If you have a numerical advantage in the box, or there's space in the box, absolutely. So we're not anti crossing the ball. What we are is pro good decision making, and that's what we're going to continue to develop, and we're going to continue to learn. And we're going to stay consistent with our message, and we're going to stay consistent with how we are going to grow as a team. And tonight was a nice step forward, but we can continue to take steps forward as well.
BJ, there were, I'd say, 2 or 3 chances where Andy Nahar had possession of the ball in the first half where it could have led to a counterattack for your side, but chose to kind of settle the pace of play down a little bit. Would you say, is that more of an in-game adjustment from Andy, or was that kind of something you guys talked about before? Not just Andy specifically, but just your side in general.
Yeah, I think what you saw was mature decision making, right? For us, we didn't say to Andy, don't counterattack, but what we do know about Charlotte is, 1, they're really good defensively, hard to break down, and 2, they are very good in offensive transition. So what we did not want to get into is a track meet and getting into this counter and then counter the counter and just get back and forth. We did not want that type of game. So I think that's where you sort of saw some maturity from our guys in saying, okay, let's take a pause and let's move our team up. Let's stay connected, because when we do lose the ball, we need to have players around it to quickly win it back. And we knew that was going to be a point of emphasis to sort of try to mitigate some of the. Again, this team is the Charlotte team is a really good team, and the way they counterattack is excellent.
Being 10 days into the month of May, obviously you've had a slew of games already, but I guess minus the Atlanta game, how do you think your team is, adjusted so far this month?
Yeah, the guys are up for it, right? The guys are up for it. They know exactly what our intentions are for the month. We have a consistent way that we sort of prepare for each opponent and kind of go through our weeks, which I think helps in these moments. And again, it keeps us very balanced. Keeps us balanced that we don't go. I always say, go one step up, one step down. And we'll have off tomorrow for Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and I know some of our guys are happy about that, and that's important to us. But we'll get right back to work on Monday in preparation for Wednesday's match.
Thank you.